We're going old school today. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to the retro classic Megas XLR. The first episode, at least. This is a first impression reaction, and for those who don't know what that is, let me explain real quick. So, if you're new to the channel, I have this kind of thing I do where I check out the first episode or so of a series and determine if it's something I want to continue reacting to in the future. I call this a first impression. Pretty on the nose, pretty spot on. You get the idea. So I give the series a first impression with the episode, and I determine if it's something I want to continue reacting to in the future, continue watching on my own time, or if I'm just not interested and I'm going to drop it. And like I said, today we have Megas XLR, a retro series from Cartoon Network's past 20 years ago. Almost exactly. Megas XLR started airing in 2004 and finished airing in 2005. It was 2 seasons, and I believe it was actually canceled. But it is looked back upon extremely fondly, has a massive following, and I know practically nothing about it because I never watched it. I knew of it, I knew it existed, but that's about it. And I've never really cared enough to really check out any clips or any episodes, or I haven't even heard people really like talk about it in detail. I just hear people say they like it a lot. Um, but it is one of those retro cartoons that is looked upon extremely fondly. And so it's something we're going to check out today. But it's not just my decision. See, this was actually requested for me to check out as a first impression by Venom. So thank you for donating for this, Venom. You have specifically requested for me to check this out as a first impression series. And I think I at least might know why. I do know that this series involves giant robots. And I'm not exactly quiet about the fact, I guess you could say, that I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. Like, I'm not big into, like, sci-fi in general. But I'm especially not big into, like, giant robots. Like, mecha anime and whatnot don't really appeal to me. Stuff like Gundam and whatnot. There's exceptions here and there. There's some things that I like the Big O and whatnot. But those are exceptions, not the rule. And so we have here a series that I don't know too much about. Like I said, I know it's about giant robots, but I also know it's notably anime inspired. Like, it's one of those shows that was so aggressively inspired by anime, along with the likes of, Teen Titans and whatnot back in the day. The original Teen Titans, the good Teen Titans, not the bullshit Teen Titans Go shit we have now. But yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna know any of the voice actors in this. I don't know if I've seen the character designs. I know nothing about the plot. I don't know what to expect. I just, again, know giant robots. It's heavily anime inspired. I know that it's extremely popular. And that's the long and short of it. I'm excited to check this out, though, to see what we have in store. And hopefully I end up really liking it. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know for sure what I'm going to think. But that's the point of a first impression. Because I don't know if it's something I'm going to like in the first place. So, why not give it a first impression, give it a chance to impress? um, there's also the aspect that it is an older series, and some older shows, especially from this time period, have some cheesiness to them and some like writing and pacing issues at times. Like a lot of people look fondly upon these old cartoons, but if like you actually like really watch them, it's like there's a reason cartoons have improved so much since then. They kind of needed to. And I still hold a lot of fond memories for classic cartoons like this. Like I grew up with these kinds of cartoons with like the likes of Powerpuff Girls and Ed, and Eddie and whatnot. And I love these cartoons. But you look back on them now and it's like, ugh, didn't age well. Not actually that great when you look back on it with a more analytical mind, just from having seen more. And don't get me wrong, it's like there's still a lot that about even modern cartoons that has issues, but you know, it's just a lot of old cartoons don't really hold up to modern standards, especially after stuff like Adventure Time. Like that kind of set a whole new bar. But a lot of old cartoons still have enough charm and wit and good writing and whatnot to make them stand out even today. So hopefully it ends up being one of those latter ones. Either way, let us get into this and hope for the best. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this came out like a year before Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just try to comprehend that. Because from a animation standpoint, from a voice acting standpoint, from a writing and dialogue standpoint, from a pacing and editing standpoint, from literally any standpoint, this show is like really bad. And it's not like a conceptual thing really, because the concept is like fine, I guess. It's very generic. There's not really much to it. The only I guess unique thing is the fact that the robot was like souped up like with like a car and everything, and is run with like a stick shift and shit. But it's like this felt like, in terms of pacing and stuff, this felt like it would be like 3 or 4 episodes worth of content here. Because there's so many like it's so aggressively rushed, and the cuts, the editing is so terrible. It like cuts and fades at weird points. The audio doesn't like fade right or anything. It's just it's so bad. It's so bad. It rushes through this storyline that really feels like it should be given more time. Again, it feels like you watched the equivalent of 3 to 4 episodes in this time. Because it's like, how can Coop control this robot this easily and quickly? How was he able to repair it in the first fucking place? How does he have that level of uh, like robotic technological know-how, um, how can he just figure out like what everything does when he needs it for battle? But then like at other times he's just so inept with like what buttons do what and everything. It makes no sense. It's like it just completely like makes no sense. On top of that, like how it, I understand. I think the joke is supposed to be like, he's like in his early 20s or whatnot. Him and his friend are just like, they're stoners. Let's be fucking honest here. They're fucking stoners. And so they're like chill and out of it, and don't really like react spectacularly to the giant robot, to the aliens coming through and everything. The only like big reaction we even really get is Coop's friend just getting angry at being called a monkey, which is like, all right. Is this like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z or something? It rushes through so many plot points. Um, Andrew, I think her name is, just accepts everything way too quickly. She's like, let me control the robot. I need to control the robot. It's my robot. And he's like, I'm the one who controls it. Oh, maybe you should control it. It's like, bitch, you like went through an entire like character arc's worth of development in like 2 seconds. And then it's just, and then she kind of goes back and forth on that, on whether or not she's accepting of it. And it's just, it's so aggressively fast with everything. Things come in and they're taken down and defeated and like just easily handled in such a short amount of time. Not to mention, it's like one of those cases where clearly consequences are just non existent. Because, like, they destroyed, an entire fucking city. Millions are dead. Except somehow those elementary school students. Who knows how the fuck they survived. But millions are dead, and, nothing's going to come of it. The military's not going to be sent in to, like, go after them or anything. Because this show clearly doesn't, like, think that far ahead. It feels like this show was made by Coop. And I mean that to say, like, Coop feels like a self-insert character for whoever made this. Just because whoever made this is, like, running purely on the idea that giant robots are cool. The entire concept of this series seems to be giant robots are cool. Nothing else matters. We don't need to worry about the consequences of actions. We don't need to worry about pacing, writing, dialogue, anything. Natural editing. As long as we can show cool giant robot fights, that's all that matters. And the problem is it comes across as so disjointed and poorly made that it's not even enjoyable. It's not even fun to watch. Because it's just like you're constantly bombarded with either extreme cringe, extreme confusion, or, just a lot of disastrous, like, visuals and voice acting and there's some good voice actors in this. Steve Blum is a great voice actor. You have Kevin Michael Richardson. You have Clancy Brown. As terrible of a person as she is, Wendy Lee is still a good VA. But no one's doing a good job here. Like, everyone's just, they seem to be phoning it in. And I don't know if it, like, notably improves. Like, I think there's 2 seasons of this, like I said. I don't know if it's, like, going to notably improve. But there's also inconsistencies in the animation, like with Coop's eyes. And there's, just a lot of issues in regards to how this is made. And I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I don't understand why this is so well beloved. And again, like, you can't even say, like, oh, it's a product of the times, because again, this came out only a year before Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. A cartoon that does have some issues, but not these issues. It doesn't have this big of an issue with its editing, with its pacing, with its writing, with its dialogue, with its character work, with its animation or voice acting. It's like, I just don't understand. I don't get it. And maybe part of it is, I'll fully admit, because I'm not that big of a fan of giant robots. I'm not someone who's just like, oh, giant robots are cool. No, to me, they're really not. They're not, like, uncool. They're not, like, bad. But there's nothing special about giant robots to me. Again, there are some exceptions here and there where there's a giant robot or something that I enjoy. But I tend to prefer fantasy and stuff like that far more to sci-fi. Giant robots just don't really do much for me. And this is just no different. Excuse me. And the fact that this is very clearly marketed on just the singular premise of giant robots being cool, I just don't feel like there's anything in this series that appeals to me. Like, I don't like the characters. Coop and his friend are fucking annoying. And the lady, again, Andrew or something, she's just a fucking moron. On so many levels. The bad guys are super generic and uninteresting. And that's really all there is in terms of characters so far. And it's like, I don't find myself interested. I don't find myself invested in anything happening. I don't care about the story. I don't care about the characters. And I'm not interested. This is not by any means like the worst thing I've seen. It's not going to be something that I get like upset about or whatnot, but I don't find it to be good. And again, maybe it gets better. Maybe it improves. But right now, just the way it's made, the pacing, the writing, etc., is so bad that it makes it like really undesirable to watch. So, yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in continuing to react to this or even watch it on my own time, honestly. I don't see the appeal at all. I didn't like it. pretty much at all. It's not good, in my opinion. But if you like it, that's perfectly fine. As always, this is entirely subjective. It is just my opinion. You are allowed to like something that I don't, and vice versa. But all of that being said, um, we're not continuing this one. And again, Venom, I feel like you possibly knew this would happen, and that's why you chose this as a first impression. Because it's like you were probably worried I wouldn't like it, based on things I've said before. And yeah, it's clearly not for me. But I mean, a lot of, let's be honest, a lot of those retro cartoons just at this point aren't for me. It's just a matter of I kind of have different expectations at this point than when I was a kid, and I'm like I'm picky when it comes to shows. I tend to be very picky because I excuse me. I tend to kind of like expect and desire a certain level of quality with the programming I watch. And that's because of all I've gotten. With again the likes of Adventure Time, OKKO, and so on and so forth. Owl House especially. We've gotten so many good, great cartoons in recent years that like they continuously become a new standard. Adventure Time had become a new standard. Um, Even to a degree, MLPFIM had become a new standard, and just so many of these others. And that's normal. But when you go back and watch some of these older cartoons, like I said, it's sometimes very hard to watch because they don't live up to modern cartoons in terms of writing, pacing, character work, voice acting, etc. Now, I will say I can definitely see the inspiration of the anime has had on this. It's very clearly meant to be almost like a parody, I feel, of mecha anime. It definitely comes across that way. Like, oh, what if we took a mecha anime and just made it like egregiously American? Because that's what this feels like. Um, and I regret saying that Coop looked like Guy Fieri because that's an insult to Guy Fieri now. Guy Fieri is like a great person, just a really cool guy, and Coop is kind of terrible. He's kind of a piece of shit, if I'm being honest. I really don't like him. Um, but I do feel that there is a lot of potential with kind of like this generalized idea. I just don't know if we'll ever see that kind of potential. Um, because let's be honest, a lot of cartoons have kind of moved past these kind of ideas at this point. I don't know. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And sorry about the dog. There's the male person is here. But yeah, I'm just very let down, very unimpressed, and just not interested in any more. So, unfortunately, this one was a flop. It happens. Not every first impression is going to be a winner. And that's why we do first impressions. Because I have no idea what I'm going to think about the series, and it's better than like trying to commit ourselves to a full show without knowing what I'm going to think ahead of time. So, yeah, this one, again, if you really like it, whether through fond memories or just, you really do enjoy the show, that's perfectly fine. I just personally don't. So, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.